Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. What's up? I am the sports judge. I can't take my eyes off Lamar Jackson. I've always been a fan of Lamar Jackson, even though critical, but I was not sold he was a franchise quarterback because he doesn't seem built for the playoffs, which is why I'm critical of him. But he has silenced the critics and has also been a great example of perseverance. He's a praiseworthy quarterback. I can say that about him. I can also say Lamar has done his thing. Lamar had to hear a lot of negative things about him last January, even though he's dominant during the regular season. I don't think the general public is not ready to view him as a top caliber quarterback in the NFL, not until he delivers in the playoffs. I can trust him to get me there in terms of what he can produce during the regular season. But in the playoffs, I can't put my money on him. This is a quarterback who can run around and move. He's very mobile. He's gifted. I'm okay with that to some extent. It works in the regular season, but not so much in the playoffs because he gets away from doing what he does best, and that's running all over people. I feel like he makes that extra pass to prove that he's this pocket passer when he doesn't really have to do that. Lamar is so good that even when his stats don't pop off of the page, he still makes an impact. If you're watching this game, Lamar Jackson is playing the best football of his career. His command for his offense is second to none. Jackson is a leader, exceptional character. Jackson, while instrumental in his team's win, ended the game with, fairly decent individual stats. He attempted just 18 passes, totaling 156 yards, and threw for 2 touchdowns in a dominant win in dominant fashion. They beat the Bills 35-10. He also added 54 rushing yards and a touchdown on the ground. Now look, we all know how well he plays during the regular season. When we see a drop-off in production, it comes in the playoffs because, again, this is a guy trying to prove to everyone that he can be this passing quarterback, right? That he can be this elite passer. I feel like he gets away from doing what he does so well, and that is attacking on the ground. And when he gets away from that, he finds himself in trouble a lot of times. So I think that's why you talk about him being this unappreciated quarterback. That is exactly why he is unappreciated, because he has not got it done in the playoffs. You look at his playoff numbers and they're very pedestrian, right? He hasn't won the big game. He hasn't, been able to beat his nemesis, Patrick Mahomes. Every time the Chiefs meet, the Chiefs usually beat up on the Ravens, and we've seen that. And his last playoff appearance, Lamar Jackson was awful. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. He didn't play well at all. He had a bad game, and everybody remembers that, and I'm sure he remembers that as well. It left a nasty taste in his mouth and all that. And every year we kind of count on him to kind of show up and deliver in a big way, and we haven't seen it yet. But I will say this, in terms of being a running quarterback, I think we got it. We got it. Okay, look, this is an era where the quarterbacks have changed the way the game is played. You see quarterbacks that's more explosive now, that's able to attack on the ground. They're like running backs, basically. And Lamar Jackson is like that in a way. And when you see his game and when you see what he's done, I can make the argument that it's the best I've ever seen. He's arguably the best running quarterback that I think we've ever seen, that this game has ever seen, and nobody comes close to doing what he's doing. It's just a matter of him getting to the playoffs, which he will get his team probably to the playoffs, but it's a matter of getting it done. Can you show up when the bright lights come on? Can you be that guy that finally gets your team to the Super Bowl and beyond? And can you be that guy that they can trust to deliver in the big moments, like he's done in the regular season? If he could do that, then I think a lot of this talk and that would kind of flip the narrative. I think a lot of this talk about him being overrated, or you hear it from people who say that he's not, that great of a quarterback. I think it's utter disrespect. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. He just has to perform in the playoffs. And if he can do that, then all that talk about him being overrated, all that talk about him not being this elite quarterback, all that talk will go away. But I think he can use his legs a little bit more in the postseason. Don't try to prove to everyone that you can be this elite passer. Just play your game. Just do what you did during the regular season. Do what worked for you in the offense so you can get your team to the next level, and that would be the Super Bowl. But I think on so many levels, people love him or they either hate him. I don't know if it's so much hate. I think hate's a very strong word. I think they just don't buy into him being this successful quarterback because they haven't seen the best of him when it truly matters. And once they see the best of him when it truly matters, once he starts producing in big games that count, meaningful games, then I think everyone will have a different opinion about Lamar Jackson, and they will be talking about him as if he's an elite quarterback. But I think it's fair to say that he's definitely a top 5 quarterback, and with his explosiveness and athleticism, I think right now nobody comes close to being on his level. He is the best running quarterback in the NFL. I think that's fair to say, and you saw how he dominated in that game on Sunday night against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, it was just an all-around performance from him. You couldn't ask for anything better from him. It was a great game from him, and he really went out there and showed the world that he can be that guy. But we need to see more of that in the playoffs. And I think if we do, I think we will change how we view Lamar Jackson as a player and even as a person. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. Thanks for checking out the content. That's great stuff. If you guys want more, if you guys like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching this on TikTok, make sure to follow back. Thanks everyone. Talk to you guys very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.